Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, I have got the home match against Grimsby in Sky Bet League 2. We are still just inside the playoff spots with 6 games to go, so let's have a look to see how we got to this point. So this was the last game we had in a live com, the 0-0 home draw against Notts County. Disappointing stuff, but less said about that one the better, I think. The board are still only satisfied with my performance now. They're looking for a minimum of playoffs from us this season, and it's still touch and go whether or not we're going to get there. My job status is only stable as well, so all plays into the fact that we're now we're pretty much into April. Still haven't had my contract renewed, so it's looking less and less likely that I'm going to be at Exeter next season. Not just because I would quite like to move on, but because it's becoming fairly clear they don't want me at the club either. Next game after that one, we beat Wrexham 1-0 at home with a goal from Lee Novak. We went on quite a good run of results from this point, actually. We then, before we get into that, this was the youth candidates that we got in this year. No one particularly special. Joe McCormick looks okay, a 2 and a bit star potential, but really nothing very exciting. What was a bit more exciting is that Paolo Di Canio has left Burnley. They're 11th in the Championship at the moment, and although they haven't offered me an interview, and it turns out they didn't actually offer me an interview, I didn't apply either. Quite importantly, who will take over? I was third favourites with the bookmakers, at only 5-1 to become the next manager of Burnley. So not only am I getting interviews, I'm now starting to get recognised by the media and by the bookies as a viable candidate for Championship level jobs. So I am hoping a move to the Championship might be on the cards in the summer, and that would be awesome. Exeter aren't very happy with when that media story came out. I think what I said was, I'll quite happily do that. Thank you very much. So they weren't very happy with that. For once, though, didn't affect the players. We beat Burton 1-0 away. Tom Young's getting the goal in the 92nd minute, finally justifying his £250,000 price tag in the summer. With a 92nd minute goal, we were by far and away the second best team in that game, and we absolutely robbed Burton, but I'm not going to complain at all. We then pretty much did the same job to Cambridge. I mean, we were the better team against Cambridge. They're a poor side. Jonathan Abika scored after 35 minutes. We dominated the match, played very well. It was only a 1-0 though. And then Lee Novak got himself injured. He's pretty much out for the rest of the season now, with strained knee ligaments. Fleetwood offered me a job. They're in the relegation zone in League One now, so I actually declined a job interview. No point going to a club who we could end up swapping places with over the summer, and Fleetwood just isn't the kind of job that I'm that interested in at this point. Cue me becoming Fleetwood manager in the summer, probably, when Exeter sack me. That was disappointing because Barnet are not a fantastic side. We lost 1-0 away to Barnet, and that brings us back to another board report, and they're still only satisfied. They still like Jack Stacey. We're familiar with all this stuff. And that's the league table with 6 games to go. So, bizarrely, from 3rd down to 8th, there's only 1 point separating all those teams. Luton in 3rd place on 62 points. We're in 7th on 61 points. But crucially, we've got the joint best goal difference of any of those, 6 teams, battling it out for the playoffs and the 3rd automatic promotion spot. So, ridiculously, we could probably comfortably finish low down in mid-table without any problem at all. But if the run of results goes slightly differently, we could still get promoted in 3rd place without even having to worry about the playoffs. It's been a strange old season. Right, this is the team that we're going to be playing today. We're back to doing this again. Owen Garvin has made a miraculous recovery. His 4 or 5 month injury, he's only actually been out for 2 months. He's played the last couple of games. So now he's back. We can be playing this sort of flexible attack when we want to attack, drop back deeper when we want to be a bit more counter-attacking type system. Jack Stacey is injured, but with Lee Novak injured as well, I don't really have another option to play out on the right wing, and he's only got a bruised rib. He's only out for a day. He passed his fitness test, so we'll give him the first hour anyway. We don't really have much in the way of options to bring on from the bench. I guess Paul Taylor could come on and maybe play out on the right-hand side if need be, but hopefully the game will be sewn up by then. He hopes. Stacey and Garvin are both struggling for fitness a little bit, but they've been 2 of our best players this season. We've got to play them in a big game like this. Yes, we'll take... Oh, you don't feel confident enough to give me any advice. Yes, we're the favourites. Go on, Rob Edwards. You give your team talk. Look at that for motivational genius. Brilliant. What are we paying him for? Right, so Grimsby have kicked off. We really, really, really need a win today. It would be a ridiculous run into the end of the season if we manage to somehow scrape an automatic promotion out of the shambles that this season has been. There you go, we've moved up to 6th position, so we're a little bit further into the playoffs already. We're 15 minutes in, we're doing well for possession. We're not doing so well for anything else really, as usual. Seems to be the story of this season. First half, very little happens, but then it all livens up a little bit in the second half. But Grimsby have got a corner here. We don't want it to liven up right now. Although Jack Stacey's won the ball back, and we've got a break on here. Can Clark Harris find anyone? He cannot. That was just ridiculous. Clark Harris has seriously gone off the boil in the last couple of months. Certainly for the amount of money it would cost to bring him here permanently, I'm not sure that's going to be a route we're going to be looking to explore over the summer. Jack Stacey, on the other hand, would love to bring him in, but I doubt we'd get him. So definitely going to be, if I'm still at Exeter next season, I'm definitely going to be in the market for a striker. We're up to 5th now, and we've still not had a proper chance in this game, but we're charging up the league table, which suggests everyone else is being rubbish again. Stacey out wide, can he get the cross in? He almost finds, who is that, a Beaker? I forget who's playing. Who's our number 12? I think it's a Beaker. Yes, it's a Beaker. There we go. He's running at the defence now. He gets the cross into Clark Harris, who hits the post. Falls back out to Marlon Pack, who finds Tilney. Can he cross now? He does. And Stacey has it taken off his head by the Grimsby defender. Garvin's corner now. This is a lot more like it for a first half performance for us. Marlon Pack decides not to shoot, but finds Clark Harris, who feeds a Beaker, crosses it back through to, it's bobbling around everybody in the area. Somebody have a shot. Trickett Smith does. He hits the crossbar, and Clark Harris has turned it in. And that was a bit of a shambles, but we're 1-0 up. We're up to 4th now. This is going to be a very, very unusual run in to the end of this season. And this goal, why it took so long for someone to decide to have a shot. Trickett Smith does really well there. And Clark Harris, if nothing else, he is a good poacher. And he'll always sniff around and score those kind of chances. But yeah, that's exactly what we needed, really. Going into half-time, we're 1-0 up. More of the same, please. Stacey's not going to make it much further into the match, I don't think. We'll give him 15 minutes, maybe. Garvin's going to need to come off shortly after as well. So we've got 2 substitutions that are going to be forced upon us. It would be nice to be 2-0 up by that point. Probably around about the time we take Garvin off, we'll find a way to switch to the counter-attacking version of this if we're still winning. Although that version kind of does rely on having Owen Garvin in the side, so might not be an option for us. Trickett Smith's picked up a knock as well now. We might have all 3 substitutions forced on us in this match, which is far from ideal. I don't like the way the ball keeps sort of bobbling around in the middle there. It could just be that Garvin is tired and not able to cover enough ground. Oh no, it's 1-1. That was a sloppy goal to concede. We just sort of gave their player, I don't know, ball comes in. Yeah, have as long as you want to turn, mate. There you go, yeah. Turn, get yourself comfortable, ready to shoot now. There you go. I'll just sort of let it go through my hands. Fantastic. That's their first shot, isn't it? It's the first one been worthy of a highlight anyway. And that changes everything. Right, we need to take Jack Stacey off because I don't want to break him. We're going to need him for the run-in, especially if playoffs are on the cards, which if we don't win today is looking more and more likely. Trickett Smith and Garvin are both going to need to come off for fitness as well. I'm going to keep them on for as long as I can. But again, we can't really afford to break Trickett Smith. What's wrong with him? Potential shin injury. I mean, yeah, that's not good. But we don't have any other options. And I thought we'd gone 2-1 down there. I'm not even sure where we are in the league table now. I was so upset when the goal went in, I didn't notice. I assume we're not still sitting 4th. Abika's put us 2-1 up though. Is that offside? It's not. Abika's really turned on some form in the second half of the season. That's his 9th goal of the season. How far did we fall when we equalised? That's only put us back up to 6th. Everyone else has obviously decided to start winning as well. Don't know why I paused the game there. I want to pause when we get out of this highlight. And we're switching to the counter-attacking version. And we're going to figure out how to make it work. So Trickett Smith needs to come off. We'll bring Sam Foley on for him. Garvin also needs to come off. I am very reluctant to make all my substitutions with 20 minutes still to go, especially at this end of the season when players are likely to get injured. But I think that's what we're going to go with. Jack Rolls and Marlon Pack holding, and then Sam Foley playing as the more attacking central midfielder. The problem is, if they score, we don't really have a 2-3-1. Because what I was saying is we don't really have a way to turn that more attacking. None of those 3 central midfielders. they've got it in them to play as an attacking midfielder. But hopefully we won't need it because we're 3-1 up now with 18 minutes left. Clark Harris with an excellent finish from a Paul Taylor cross. And we could do without highlights now. We'll just let it finish here, if that's okay with everybody. Oh, we're going to score again. That would be even better. We certainly don't want them to be scoring, though. And they're sort of cutting through our midfield again. We've got 3 players in there. How are they finding it so easy to move through the centre of the pitch? If anything, they should be beating us out wide, because we don't really have anyone out there apart from the fullbacks. Certainly not defensively. But they find it all too easy to cut through the middle. But I think time has run out for them. This will be the final highlight. Full time. There we go. We've beaten Grimsby 3-1. Let's see what that's going to have done to the league table. Hopefully, there'll have been some defeats for our rivals, so that I'd love to have a little bit of comfort zone in this playoff spot. My plan at the moment, while we wait for this to load, is I'm going to play the next few games offline, and then I'm going to be back in the next episode with the final 2 games of the season. And depending on how they turn out, we might have another episode after that, which will be the playoffs. I hope we don't have to do the playoffs, so I'd love to go up automatically. Now it looks like we possibly could. Right, let's have a look. So, we all won by the looks of it. We're up to 6th. We're still only 1 point behind Luton, though. So, we'll play the next few games. The games we've got, the ones that are going to be in the next episode, are at home to Bolton and away to Carlisle. Before then, we've got to go away to MK Dons, at home to Morecambe, away to Blackpool. Let's have a look to see if any of those teams are around us. Bolton massively fell away. Look at how far down Bolton are. That's ridiculous. But Blackpool, we've got to play. Carlisle, we've got to play. MK Dons. So there's a few big games. Luckily, York have fallen off completely, so we're not going to have the indignity of finishing below them. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting next few games, and we will be back tomorrow for the home game against Bolton and the away game against Carlisle on the final day of the season, and hopefully celebrating some automatic promotion, or at the very least a nice run in that gets us confidence going into the playoffs. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on all the exciting promotion run-in stuff. And thanks very much for watching.